so excited to be at MicroConf. Leave my terrible family behind. I suspect you guys feel the same. Like, enjoy, suckers! I'm going to MicroConf. I also think it's probably the only room in the world where you can stand at the back and not be able to pick out Mike Tabor. Mike is leaving the talk right now. He's very upset. Anyway, I'm going to show you in just about 30 minutes 9 ways to write higher converting copy without coming off like a salesy douchebag, which is not what any of us want. I'm going to show you the 4 things that high converting copy must do. 4 emails, very specific emails that you can swipe and plug into your existing customer lifecycle or journey or funnel or whatever you want to call it, whatever we're calling it these days. And I'm going to show you 4 common copy mistakes and how you can avoid them. And like 25 people in my roundtable just now were asking me these exact questions, and I was like, shh, come to my talk. You're probably like, what? That's not 9. And I'm like, I'm a writer, not a math person. Please don't be mad. Let's start with 4 musts of high converting copy. And this is like, the next thing I'm about to tell you is really the only thing you need to do to write copy, although I do have a talk after. I will keep talking. But if you only take this away, then I will be happy. I want you to pull your copy directly from your customer research. So I know this is starter edition. Maybe we don't have tons and tons of reviews and qualitative feedback to mine, so you have to get a little creative. You have to reach out to your people and ask them questions. Reverse engineer from what you need to know to the question that you need to ask. You can go into your support chat transcripts if you have those, ask your support people, and you probably are the support person. Just start keeping track of the things that people say over and over and the questions that they ask you over and over, because that should be in your copy. And if you send surveys, please don't make people sit through a 15-minute, 50-question survey, because you won't get responses, and toward the end, they'll start saying very mean things to you. Hasn't happened to me. So what are you looking for when you're going through all of this qualitative feedback? You're going to start to see certain messages emerge, right? You're going to start to see people saying the same things or feeling the same way, and you're going to use that to build out a hierarchy of what your copy should present to them. So message 1, I heard it from 12 people. Probably needs to be close to the top of the page if 12 is the biggest number here. Then message 2, heard it from 5 people. It's probably going to be somewhere in the middle of the page. That's where I'm going to address that problem or that claim. Message 3, so on, so forth. These are the patterns and the preferences that are going to start to come out. And you're looking for sticky phrases. The ways that people talk about your product that you probably would not have thought to do it. I was working with a mattress company recently, and somebody wrote, "I literally want to be buried on top of this mattress." And I was like, I will use that. So here's an example from a digital program that helps people start online businesses. Did this messaging work with them. They say, now that's what I call a good dose of hard-ass reality. I wouldn't have put it that way, but he did, and I used it. Someone else described herself as a hummingbird, flitting from silver bullet to silver bullet, mixing metaphors a little bit here. And someone else said, the vein of gold was always there if only I had kept on digging. So super concrete images that you don't even have to come up with. Your people will just serve up to you. So keep an eye out for those. And the more you go through this data, the more you'll start to see those things and be able to point them out. And when you're doing this kind of research, make sure that you always take the entire chunk. Don't just take the phrase, because it's more helpful to have it in context. We like context, right? We're engineers. And I've never written code. It's an unpopular thing to say right now. I'm going to have some slides throughout that will be yellow. Take a picture of these. I'll wait. Take a picture of me with the slides. No, these are going to be helpful things for you to take home and remember and try. These are some of my favorite questions to ask your people. So what was going on in your life that led you to consider me or my solution? People will be like, oh my God, my dog died, and then my mom got sick, and I just needed an app to make my coffee to feel like I had control over my life again. And you're like, cool, it's more than I needed, thank you, and you use that in your copy. How will this product make your life better? How will my SaaS or my service or whatever it is improve your life? Let them tell you how they want you to help them. Again, you'll get so much great feedback from this question. What would make this product irresistible to you? They'll say, oh, I want all of these features. Disregard the ones that don't fit with your roadmap or that you're probably not going to build or are too expensive or the only one person wants. But again, helpful to know what people want from you. And, I'm so excited. Who do you think this product is perfect for? Because even if it's not them, this forces them to picture a person and describe that person to you. So you might think that you've built a perfect product for soccer moms. You ask soccer moms, they're all like, no, this is perfect for teenage boys. Which wow, how did you make that mistake? That's terrible. It's a pretty big disconnect. Tough crowd. Thank you, lone clapper. Please see me after. The second thing that high converting copy must do, and it was very hard for me not to make this its own talk, because I did that talk last year at Growth. Lighten up a little bit. Have a little bit of fun with your copy. When you use humor, you reduce anxiety, you build more trust with your people, you build camaraderie, and it helps you set yourself apart, especially if you have competitors. So we just talked about this in the roundtables. If you're in a competitive space, which I feel like we all are now, if you were to take your website, take your logo off, put it next to your competitors, how would you be able to tell that it's you? Are you all saying the same thing? This is where you have a chance to give your brand a voice. And you can address objections, which you already know about because you did some research. So here's an example. Amy Hoy was here, I think for Growth, right? No, she wasn't. Well, I miss her. She sends this great email onboarding to her SaaS, which is like a card-based organizational system. Hey there, it's me, Amy, again. I'm back with some more sweet, sweet chronal knowledge. I think that's a joke on carnal knowledge. I took it that way. I thought it was great. # sorry not sorry. If you already have made a few cards, stick around. You'll probably learn something. Super conversational, not the kind of onboarding email you expect, right? But the one that works. Here is 500 startups. They send this daily email with startup tips. Notice their cadence. They say, same 10-second format, same daily cadence, same love affair with animated GIFs, latest must-read knowledge. They're really giving their brand a voice, right? If I open this email, I know it's them. So don't be afraid to do this. Don't be afraid to use GIFs. We'll talk about that a little bit later. The third thing that your high-converting copy must do is get emotional, provoke some kind of response. Ideally positive, but fear has its place too. And the easiest way to do that is by telling a story starring your reader. So again, help them envision your product in their life. You've already asked them that question. Now put it in context for them. And another way to get emotional is by just going through your copy and taking out your underperforming words and replacing them. So here is a great example of Soapbox. It's a video software. They say, you did it! You made your referral made their first Soapbox video. It's all because of you. And I was like, dang, I feel really good right now. I always feel really good. That's a lie. I'm a stress ball. So they're like, hooray, and they evoke this positive emotion from me. They're celebrating me. They also send another email with a GIF of their entire team celebrating when you make a video. It's great. What does fear look like? Evoking fear in a non-sleazy way. This is TransferWise. Maybe, who uses TransferWise? Nobody. Cool. I like it. Helps send and receive money. Thank you. Ryder at the back? I don't know. Hi. Thanks for being here. They say you do business in multiple currencies, so you get it. Banks charge hidden fees, and for small businesses, those fees add up. They're not like, the world is ending, you're going to die if you use a bank. It's going to be terrible. They're like, hey, this probably sucks, and you might not be aware of how much money you're losing. Check out our service instead. Not sleazy, but a super effective way to evoke fear. When it comes to using harder hitting words, again, take a photo. These are some of the most common adjectives and verb phrases that we see in copy that maybe aren't working as hard as they could. I just like using the word phenomenal. And grab. I'm always grabbing things. Talk to me later, I'll grab you. Is that a code of conduct violation? Sorry. One last note on being emotional. Don't fake it. I had this slide last year. I think it's going to be one of those slides that repeats throughout all my talks because I love it so much. Like, look at his dead little eyes. He's not feeling it. People will know when you're being disingenuous, and you don't have to be like super crazy out of the box excited if you don't feel that way. Just, get a little bit of excitement in there when you're writing. The fourth way to write higher converting copy is to do it throughout your entire copy ecosystem. So often, I think, especially as bootstrappers, if we have a collection of tools, those tools probably have pre-built templates that have copy in them, right? And we're like, I have a confirmation email, I have a transaction email, I have an upgrade email, I don't need to update the copy in that. But if you've spent the time to work on your copy on the front end, and then somebody, signs up and loves you and gets this transactional email that just is like a wet fart, you're disappointing them. You're not going to keep them around longer because you've shown them you weren't paying attention to the details. These are some of the places that I like to include copy that just shows I paid attention, right? I was looking. Click trigger copy, so that's underneath a call to action, usually a button. It's a great place to address objections. If someone's maybe not ready, send them somewhere else on your site or in your email or whatever it is. Trial policies. People expect those to be legalese. If you can go in and without irritating your lawyer, maybe add like a parenthetical aside that's like, this is boring, but you should read it. People will appreciate that. 404 pages, Easter eggs. Somebody came to me once and he was like, I'm on your newsletter or whatever, check out my site. And I looked at his site, and he is a French fashion designer, not who you would expect to be using like funny, weird, detail-oriented copy, in English, no less. I scrolled all the way down to the bottom, and it said, whatever you do, don't click here. And I clicked it, and it opened a modal, and it said, you rebel you, we like you, take 15% off. And I was like, I love this! And I wrote back to him, and I was like, let's get married. And he was like, I'm gay. So that was good. Speaking of click trigger copy, speaking of blue tick, somebody mentioned this earlier. I worked on this site with Mike. These are 2 of our start your free trial calls to action. Just in case somebody's not ready to click that big green button, even though it is so specific, right? It just tells them exactly what's going to happen. They can say, see what else blue tick can do. Or they can say, or if they're not ready, we say, give it a try for 2 weeks. You'll like it. If you don't like it, hey, it was free. Like, really, you have nothing to lose, so maybe just do it. My favorite kind of thing to write. 404 pages are a great place to reward people because instead of just ending up lost in the wilderness, you have an opportunity to build the relationship with your brand. It doesn't take a second. Let's see, can I make this do a thing again? I was like astonished at this page. I think, is that John Travolta in Pulp Fiction? Yeah, cool, right? Like, awesome. Thank you pages are another great place to pay attention to the details. This is probably the one e-commerce example I left in here because I just love it so much. I placed an order with Harry's. They were like, here's some information you need to know, when your stuff will get delivered, what you can do if you have questions, and email us your favorite Gordon Lightfoot song. And that's how I knew I wasn't their target audience, because I was like, who is Gordon Lightfoot? So I Googled it. That's him. That's Gordon Lightfoot. Do we want to take a quick poll? Raise your hands if you think Gordon Lightfoot is still alive. Is he in Game of Thrones? No, but I feel like he could be. Oh my God, you're right. He looks like that.
He looks just like the Red Wedding guy.
Oh, you're right. Okay, so not many people think he's still alive, right? He is. He's doing fine. Gordon is fine, everyone. Just so you know, he's doing good. Thank you. We could stop here. No, we won't. I can't. Physically can't stop. Here's an example of one of those transactional emails, confirmation email. Whatever platform you're using, guaranteed they have some default copy built in. But MailCharts took the extra step of customizing this a little bit. They say, thanks for joining MailCharts, it's great to have you. Real quick, can you please verify your email address? And then the call to action finishes the sentence in my head, or finishes that sentence, yep, this is my email. Super low friction, super easy, just for me to click it, go forward, get emails from them. Quick review, do this stuff. Do it good. Y'all having fun? Cool. Me too. We get to drink after this. So excited. I don't have a problem. Let's move on to 4 lifetime value growing emails that no one is sending, which blows my mind. And like, no one is an exaggeration, right? I'm a copywriter, it's hyperbole. But not enough people are sending these emails in particular. The first one is the personal onboarder email. So you want to send this after someone has signed up for your SaaS, but before they've had that aha moment, right? That activation where they really understand the value and they're going to keep using it. And you want to send this as a plain text email. Abhi had a great example of this that he sends earlier. It's like 2 sentences, right? Send it as you and ask for replies. Here's another example. If you didn't like the Abhi one, they're like, hey, Lianna, here's the thing. You don't really have to read this all. This is probably a little long. And what I wish this email had done, instead of saying, hit reply and let me know if you have any questions or problems, because that makes me do more work. Again, figure out what answers you need from your people, reverse engineer a question from that, and then put that question in this email. So they will give you that qualitative feedback. It's a nice way to passively collect that data, and then you can get more buy-in from them. Because if they're having a conversation with the founder, it's going to be kind of hard to just be like, actually, never mind, I'm just going to go. You're like, wait, come back, I love you. I need every single one of you to make this work. Which we do, right? Second email, preemptive segmenter. I would love, love, love to see more softwares doing this. So you're going to send this, again, kind of near the beginning as they're starting to use your product. It's going to reinforce that feeling of buy-in. And it's going to help you tailor your following emails to their role. So if you serve multiple job roles with your product, which you probably do, or multiple demographics or segments that might need to hear different messages from you, get that information from them early and make sure you're sending them the right stuff. You probably aren't going to build that right away. You're probably just going to build your one onboard flow and then work from there. Am I standing too near something? Is this a message? By the way, if you get bored, you can just drop acid and look at the ceiling. Okay, so what does a preemptive segmenter look like? This is my email from my onboarding sequence. And I just want to know if you're someone who might hire me or you're someone who is coming from behind to steal my job and ruin my life. Copywriters. Bastards. Just kidding. I live in an abundance mindset. So this adds a tag, right? And then I can send them more helpful stuff. What I actually do is I don't send the copywriters any sales emails so that they don't know how I work. They always click both links. It's really annoying. The third email that I would love to see more of is the real person case study. You can send this whenever you want. Honestly, you can send this after they've activated, but I think it's going to have the most impact during onboarding. And you can send multiple ones, by the way, but I would have at least one real person case study, maybe after you segment them. Say, oh, hey, you're a teacher? Great. Here's a teacher who got a ton of value from my product and her story. And you're going to help her set the context, or help this reader set the context from, I was having a horrible time, I needed help, I found this solution, now I'm using it, life is sunshine and rainbows. You don't even have to write this as a case study, because like, ooh, writing, right? It's gross. You can take screenshots. If you have a Facebook group or a Slack group, this is Brian Harris, who runs Video Fruit. He also runs this thing called Agent, which helps people find speaking gigs. And he took tons of screenshots in Slack and sent them in an email, being like, look at all these people who got value. Are you getting value? Go ahead and get in there. Makes us feel like we're not alone. So helpful. Hey, people in the hallway. What's up? Rude. Anyway, the fourth email is going to be the exclusive upgrade invite. So this is one that you'll send after they've activated, after they've become a regular user, but you still want to keep them around. You still want to keep them feeling special, and you can make them feel like they're elite and spark excitement, feel like VIPs. Here's Loom doing that for me. You know, Loom Pro is here. You can try it out first. Oh, me? Why? Why me? Okay, you'll notice that I was using Soapbox, and then I switched to Loom. Don't ask me why. Chris Savage was here. I'm glad he's not here anymore. Anyway, it made me feel special, right? That, like that. Okay, I love that GIF. To quickly recap, give you a second to appreciate. I asked my designer to make that slide. She's like, that's really stupid. And I was like, no, it's not. Do it. I know when I have a good idea. These are the emails you should consider sending if you're not sending something like them already. People are taking pictures even though it's a blue slide. Let me hit you with that yellow slide. This is an example of an onboarding flow that you can use. Notice how emails for to whatever are actually based on choose your own adventure. You know best what steps people need to take inside your product to get value, and you're going to want to send an email for each of those steps until they get it done. And then you can say, like, hey, you're doing great. Here's an invite, offer, upgrade, thing. Candy, I don't know, get in my van, whatever you want to tell them. Get in my SaaS van. It's so dark. Let's move on to conversion-killing copy mistakes and how to avoid them. This was one of the questions people kept asking me during the roundtable, and I was like, could you just wait? Just wait 30 minutes. And they were like, this isn't very helpful. And I was like, don't tell Rob and Mike that I'm yelling at you. One of the biggest mistakes I see all the time, especially from people who have to write their own product copy, is me-centric copy. Because it's not about you. It's about your reader. Most of the time, you should probably be writing in second person. That's you voice. Here is an example that I blurred out. He says, hi, Lianna, I'm blank, founder of a little Toronto company on a mission to give freelancers back some of their own time. We call ourselves blank. Being a freelancer myself, I've always found it hard to manage feedback and copy changes on websites, so we solved that problem. Here is a demo video. Lianna, would you use this? And I was like, how many times can you talk about yourself, dog? This is a cold email. Never heard from this person before. I hope he's not here. Awkward. Just like, wow, it's really not about me. It's about you. I didn't click that incredibly compelling call to action, shockingly. Did not click that. So how do you fix that? If you tend to write this way, it's okay. You can write your draft that way. How do you fix it? Just go through and flip. So if you tend to write like, our product lets you get your contract signed faster, flip it into you voice, get your contract signed faster. It's also shorter, easier to understand, promises a result. It's better copy. It's what I'm talking about. In case you forgot, we're doing great. It's the end of the day. Second mistake I think we all struggle with sometimes is writing like a robot. It can be really hard because we went to school for writing, right? We learned a paragraph has 5 sentences, has an intro, 3 body sentences, and a conclusion. But that's not the way that we write anymore. That's not the way that we communicate. So why do we still write our marketing copy like that? Another bad example, because we're having fun shitting on people, right? Like, this is fun. Okay, just me? Cool. Allie was here earlier. She graciously sent me this example. Hi, Allie. Take a peek into our musings, momentum, and March updates. And then take a look inside software name. I can't imagine going up to a person like tonight at the cocktail party and being like, hello, would you like to take a peek into my March updates? They're probably like, I think that's against the code of conduct. It's not how people talk, right? That's how it made me feel. So what happens if you tend to write a little bit stilted? We just talked about this in some of the roundtables. What can you do to get around that without agonizing over it? Don't write, talk. You can sit there with your iPhone recorder on or whatever other recorder you have. I think some people use Androids. I've never met any. And just talk about your product the way that you would talk to a person. Better yet, if you're doing that customer research and you have a Zoom call scheduled with a prospect or a current trial user or an existing customer, record the Zoom call, upload it to a transcription site. I like rev.com. They turn things around really fast. It's very accurate. And you'll start to hear both the way that you talk about your copy, like a human person, and the way that they talk about it. So it's a win-win. It's going to give you a lot of useful stuff that you can go through, highlight, put in your document, put in your copy. It wrote itself. Hooray. I'm so excited. I'm the only one. Mike is having a great time. I'm sorry, Mike. The third mistake I see is sentences that are trying to do too much. I used to have a photo of a donkey whose cart was overloaded and it was in the air. Have y'all seen that? I think it's like a famous photo. Yeah. So if you're giving your sentence too many jobs to do, your message will get lost, your readers will get lost, they will leave you behind, and they will never come back. I feel like I have to get my mouth wet before I try to read this. This is, the mission statement of some biotech company. To ask important health questions irrespective of any economic drivers and to develop effective protocols that improve metabolism for those that wish to make themselves impervious to metabolic diseases such as cancer, diabetes, cardiovascular, Alzheimer's disease. Shut up. It's so bad. Don't do it. Every time I get up here, I do a German accent, and it's worse every year. I think the one German went home, thank God. Sorry, Oliver. I'm just apologizing the whole time. Anyway, how can you fix this mistake? Give all of your sentences one job. Make 1 point with each sentence. You'll make your sentences a little bit shorter. Sometimes you're like, maybe that's too short. You can mix it up if you want. Write a little bit of a longer sentence here and there. But in general, each sentence should be making 1 point. That's how you're going to write more clearly. And if you have a sentence that's not getting someone to the next sentence, you can probably cut it. Make sense? Make sentence? Cool. Words are hard. Math is hard too. What am I good at? Why am I here? Anyway, here's a great example of giving each sentence one job. They say, "Hi, Lianna. Today we bring you the highly requested templates library. It's a resource that hosts pre-designed customer journey templates to help you hit the ground running. Whether you need to generate leads, onboard new customers, or send an email newsletter, we have a template for you. We made you a thing. It's full of templates. There's one that will work for you." They don't all have to be like super short, truncated. You can, again, talk like a human. But they could have made this one whole sentence. We bring you a templates library that is full of pre-designed customer journey templates to generate leads, onboard new customers, or send an email. No, too much, run away. The last copy mistake that someone asked me about, and I was like, you are literally talking about my talk, just hold on, we'll get there. Clichés and phrases that upon closer examination don't actually mean anything. What do these look like? "Welcome, Lianna. We're excited to share our unparalleled experiences and exclusive offers." What? I don't know what those are. That was an unparalleled experience, receiving that email. Here's a sneakier version, or a sneakier example. So this is from a very well-known mockups app. They say, "Hey, you did a thing, you joined us," and the call to action is jump in and get started. Something we say all the time, right? Jump in, get started. I'm going to loop back around. I'm going to circle back around all those email cliches that if you think about it, don't really mean anything. I don't know what's going to happen when I jump in and get started. I don't know what page this is going to take me to, so it's not compelling. I'm just like, what? Also a slide that I include every time. He's great, right? He's great. We're having fun. I'm the only one having fun. What does a good, compelling, specific call to action look like? Here are some. I know exactly what's going to happen when I click on all 3 of those links. And again, as we know, calls to action can be links, they can be buttons, they can be standing on stage, screaming into the void. Having a great time. Thank you. It's hooray. Okay. So yeah, when in doubt, be specific. Tell people exactly what's going to happen. And here are some copy cliches that might sneak their way into your work, especially if you're looking for a tagline or unique value proposition. You might kind of default to something like this. Send invoices like never before. Get pull requests done like never before. You'll love how, blah, blah, blah. Adjective yet adjective is the format that Hooters uses. Delightfully tacky yet unrefined. Again, what does that mean? Those are synonyms. Anyway, I have an issue with Hooters. And let's please kill the 3-word tagline. We think it sounds special. It is not. It is meaningless. Here's another recap of the section we just went through. Please stop making these mistakes. I can help you. I realize I'm coming off very antagonistic, but this is coming from a place of love. I love you. Please say it back. Thank you. Hooray. Doubling down. This is everything that I have just been through with you. And I had a great time. And that's it. Thank you so much.
Hi there.
Hi.
I was wondering, sorry, with your segmenting, your email segmenting, I'm assuming, let's say you have an email list that's pre-existing, and you want to introduce this new segmenting. Does that mean all your old subscribers go into one bucket, and then you have new buckets for your new segments?
You can do the same thing with your existing subscribers. You can say, hey, I want to send you more relevant content in the future. Can you go ahead and take a second to click on this link?
Awesome.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Just email them and say hi. They love it. People want to hear from you. My dude. Wait, do I have my phone? Yes, I do. I'm answering questions, but I will.
Great talk, Lianna.
Thank you.
So for software products that have a free trial, obviously they sign up, there's 14 days, and your goal is to get them to convert to a paying customer. What's your advice for freemium products where they may sign up just to use it for free? How do you balance trying to get them to upgrade versus not being too pushy with that initial onboarding?
It's tough. It's going to be different for everyone. If they're using your freemium product regularly, they're probably more likely to see the value in upgrading. If they just signed up once and then quit, maybe not the person to hit with a marketing campaign. I would say email until they unsubscribe or convert. You're going to end up purging them anyway. In terms of timing, you can actually email much more often than you think to most people as long as you're giving value. So a rule of thumb that you can use is every 3 emails, you can send a sales email. So send 3 emails with value, like showing them how to use a feature or reminding them what they love about your product. And then email number 4 is like, hey, we've seen you doing this. Why don't you get into the upgrade?